Dear participants, actually Behra sir is not able to join, so due to the bad weather conditions, so it will take another 2 to 3 minutes. We will be beginning with the session in few minutes.
Okay,
He
ma'am.
joined.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Yes, welcome. Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, sir. We are able to hear you and we can see you also.
Okay.
Amit sir, Dr. Amit sir. Amit sir, you are here?
Welcome, Professor Behra. Welcome on behalf of
Namaskar.
Nagpur University. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar.
Yeah. Once again, I welcome back all on the occasion of this FDP. In this session, we have with ourselves an eminent personality in the field of educational technology, that is Professor A.P. Behra, sir, Joint Director of CIET NCERT, New Delhi. Sir is a versatile figure in the field of education technology, as he has endowed with certain responsibilities pertaining to training in face-to-face and distance mode, research, particularly third-party evaluation of ICT implementation in states, and developmental aspects pertaining to NROER, that is National Repository of Open Education Resources, ePathshala web portal, and certain other innovations at CIET New Delhi. And besides this, ICT curriculum for students and teachers were developed, and extension and dissemination activities also have been there, and a National ICT Award for school teachers in India. These are instilled by this institution. Sir, we welcome you here in this FTP as a resource person, and we request you to conduct your session and enrich us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amit and Dr. Anjali, and thanks for introducing me to the group. And as all of you know that we are struggling with the COVID-19 and fighting virtually from our respective homes, and also making it possible to check this pandemic. And also all of us, we are trying to be safe at home, practice social distancing, and also getting safe at home and learning safely at home. So this, I thank the Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University School of Education for initiating this online webinar, particularly on digital learning. And as all of you know that NCERT has been working in school and teacher education, and we have been tirelessly working on these areas. And if we talk about the Indian condition, I will try that if you can see my slides also. Because I think due to weather conditions today, internet is comparatively slow. Even 7.5 hours live telecast every day we are having. We are also facing today the problem. So let's see if I can share my screen. Yeah, certainly I can get it. Yeah. Can you see my presentation?
We can see.
Can you see my presentation slides?
Yes, sir. We are able to see.
Okay. The first slide, if you could see, it is digital initiatives in school and teacher education. All of us, we know that NCERT works in the area of school education and teacher education as well. And if we talk about grassroots realities, all of us, we know that there are 1.3 billion population in India, 130 crore, and we have nearly 15 lakh schools in the country, and 900 plus universities, and more than 33 crore students in the system. If we talk about teachers also, again there are more than 10 million. So in the country, especially in school education, it is. If we add higher education also, so it will again be doubling. So imparting quality education has been a challenge for all of us. And since 2/3 of our population constitute youth, 33% are youth in our country, so their skill development is a challenge. And the COVID-19 situation has also put double challenge before all of us for skill training of our youths, and also for learning of our youths when all higher education institutions, including school education institutions, are closed and students are at home. So that is why bridging the digital divide is the concern, and we reaching out to every higher education students and teachers and teacher educator and their capacity building is also again a challenge. And there are many potentials of digital technologies you might have discussed as well. Using digital technologies, certainly we can develop digital contents and also deliver those contents anytime, anywhere, one to one, one to many, and many to many. And besides that, since there are a large number of teachers and teacher educators in the country, so we need their capacity building, continuous professional development also on day-to-day basis. So certainly with technology in hand, we can do that also, and we have been doing that also through many projects and programs of MHRD. Certainly with technology in hand, we can maintain large database also, monitor the learning and track the students also, and also help them 24/7. So not only that, using technology for teaching, learning, assessment, and research also. So that is possible, and digital technologies can certainly help us because they have the potential to do that. If further we talk about the potentials of digital technologies, we have synchronous communication facilities and asynchronous communication facilities also. Synchronous means live communication. Like I am talking to all of you, I am watching you also, you can watch me also, and there are many platforms which are used like the Cisco platform being used by Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University to reach out to all of you to have this video call. There are DTH TV channels also where two-way communication can happen with a satellite interactive terminal at opposite end, and both the learners and teachers can talk together on real-time basis, whether video to video conferencing or audio video to audio, or both. Even Jitsi is a free and open source software. Google Team and Google Hangout also help us. Skype also help us, and even Zoom. We have a lot of controversies using Zoom also. Now Zoom has gone ahead with having a latest version 5.0 version. They are claiming that they don't have many hassles or hacking and other thing happening there. But there are plenty of synchronous communication opportunities available for teachers in higher education, so to use this. Similarly, there are many asynchronous modes of communication also, which is not real-time communication, SMS, MMS, and emails also. Even NCERT has developed alternative academic calendar and using learning management systems, using DTS TV channels. So we are also reaching out to teachers. So content management systems, open educational repositories, online laboratories, and the portals and apps also are helping us to reach out. So these are the potentials of digital technologies, and we need to use those also. Suppose I am a physics teacher or a mathematics teacher. As a mathematics teacher, I can use GeoGebra as a tool also to teach geometry and algebra to students. And similarly, also using Stellarium, PHET, FET, physics simulations can be accessed, and physics simulations can be developed also. It is also true for higher education. So suppose using some physics principles, So the ISRO scientists, they will be developing a launch vehicle for satellite launching, so they can work on the physics principle and develop simulations using PhET also. PhET Colorado, it is a Colorado University portal, so it is popularly known as PhET Colorado. So similarly for astronomy, astrophysics, Stellarium can be used also. Even we have many online platforms like maybe Kahoot as a platform, HTML5 as a platform. There are similarly Mentimeter as a platform, menti.com. We can develop quizzes and use also with higher education students. So these are some of the potentials of ICT. And nowadays also, because all of us, we know that there are about 600 million internet users, about 600 plus million internet users in the country, and rest are not internet users. In that case, we need to have low cost solutions, useful solutions during COVID period, so that even low end technologies should help us for learning, like All India Radio and Doordarshan, even Swayam and Swayam Prabha platforms also, even creating MOOCs using offline solutions, like using Moodle platform offline and creating a learning management system and using that. So that could be even using 2D communications also. The social media could be used, and videos of a lower duration can be shared with the stakeholders. Even the interactive voice recording systems can be used for counseling in higher education, and also professors can provide timely help to higher education students also. So like even blogs and e-blogs and groups also could be used for teaching learning process, and definitely for continuous professional development as well. These are some of the initiatives of Government of India. And if we talk about higher education, Swayam and Swayam Prabha are the prominent Government of India initiatives. If I take you through the Swayam Prabha platform, so there are about 32 DTH TV channels plus 133 DTH TV channels run by MHRD, and almost 2 dozens of the channels are in higher education sector and technical education sector. So using these channels also, our universities are rolling out television programs and different courses. We can also more meticulously use it for video conferencing, even two-way video and one-way audio. Two-way video also can be done. And NCERT is running a 24/7 channel, and in COVID situation, for implementation of academic calendar of NCERT, alternative academic calendar for students, we are having 7.5 hours live telecast daily, starting from 9 o'clock morning to evening 5:30. So, and we have nearly 4 crore users on YouTube official channel of NCERT. Similarly, all universities, they can maintain their YouTube channels. All the faculty members teaching different courses can record their videos and put there in the university YouTube channel, and all students across the country, they can use that also. Even mobile recorded videos can also be uploaded, which are comparatively less configuration in size. Particularly, it will be in MBs if we record in mobile, but if you use a professional camera, it will be in GBs, because the if we talk about high definition video camera using and taking video recordings, so it takes a lot of space. So similarly, also if we talk about Swayam, nearly 2000 courses are there on Swayam, and these are almost 4 quadrant courses. Text modules are there, video modules are there, assessment questions are there, even transcriptions are there, and we can have interaction with the mentors, teachers, and students through forum posts also. So using SWAYAM platform, a large number of courses are run. Every faculty in university, because now SWAYAM platform is available on Google Class platform, because IIT Chennai is doing that. Earlier, Microsoft designed this, but now IIT Chennai has taken this SWAYAM platform to Google Class platform, Google Classroom. So even as a teacher educator in university, we can design many courses on the topics or the chapters or the papers which we teach in School of Education or other departments, and run those also. As far as higher education is concerned, these are the two major flagship programs by Ministry of Human Resource Development, where all the higher education institutions are involved, including NCERT and NIOS in the school education and distance education sector. There are some more initiatives of NCERT which may be of your interest. I'll be taking you that we have designed ePathshala mobile app and portal. More than 6 crore students, teachers and parents are using it, and nearly 32 lakh plus people are using the mobile app also. All mobile books of NCERT are digitized and uploaded here. Similarly, also universities can digitize the text modules and the video modules. They can have their university own app, mobile app. Now school teachers are also designing mobile apps. There is a teacher from Alwar in Rajasthan, Mr. Imran Khan. He is teaching in a Sanskrit school. He has designed more than 100 mobile apps for the country students. So it is not very difficult to design a mobile app nowadays with tutorials available. So universities can also design mobile apps for their specific purposes, all 900 plus universities, and deliver content through mobile apps, and students can see that and use that. Similarly, this is the mobile app platform of NCERT. All NCERT books are available absolutely free on this platform. And this mobile app is also available on Umang platform of Government of India. So Government of India's Umang unified mobile application for new age governance. So this was launched by Honorable Prime Minister of India in 2018. And this can also be used. There are many utility apps like VMap and railway reservation and aeroplane ticket booking app. But nowadays it is not required due to COVID-19 situation, because all of us are not traveling. Even the air travels have been suspended. And NCERT has developed more than half a dozen of mobile apps. So even we have developed augmented reality and virtual reality app for NCERT for class 9th and 10th science textbooks. So similarly, the education departments or any other department, they can develop mobile apps. Even we have developed QR code scanning apps. So all NCERT books now we have quick response codes with resources mapped with each chapter, each book. So children can scan the code and see the materials. So similarly, higher education institutions can go ahead and do that. Even for online survey also, we have an app called Parak. So Parak means assessment or evaluation. So we have designed an app so that using that app, we can conduct online survey and have analytics online also. So similarly, for TV channel, we have a separate app. So similar kind of initiative can be taken by higher education institutions also. We have a National Repository of Open Educational Resources, popularly known as NROER. We have more than 18,000 contents. So similarly, universities can come out like National Digital Library by IIT Kharagpur and the ePG Pathshala portal of UGC, and InfluNet also has a Arpit platform and all for higher education. So those can also be used. Even Sodh Ganga platform also provides a lot of researches conducted by our young colleagues in universities and researchers, MPhil scholars and PhD scholars. So which could be used, and similar platforms also could be developed by different universities. Even if I take you through, recently Government of India has launched Diksha platform, digital particularly infrastructure for knowledge sharing. and NCERT, all NCERT books, about 186 textbooks and 4,146 contents are also available here. So this is for teacher education as well. Even for B.Ed and M.Ed students, we have some resources on ePathshala and Diksha as well. So which could be used by the M.Ed scholars and B.Ed students. So in a higher education sector. So even recently we developed a portal and app called Nista. So to train 42 lakh elementary school teachers across the country. So it was very popular all of a sudden, and we had more than 1 crore 55 lakh people using this portal, and also around 6 lakh people using this mobile app. And we rolled out teacher training program in 33 states. So similarly, universities can take up initiatives and bridge the digital divide. There are few collaborative issues also. All of us, we know we have millions of students in the country. We need to have a large database and management system to check their teaching, learning and assessment as well. So jointly we need to work. Even the simulations, augmented reality and virtual reality content, we need to develop for teachers and students as well. And learning management systems and open educational repositories in large number, we need to develop using FOSS tools, free and open source tools also. And ICT pedagogy and content integration is a major challenge in our institutions, including in schools. We need to join together and make a difference. So let us use all the technology, converge all these technologies, and make a difference in the country, and enable the use of digital learning in content, technology, and pedagogy integration, and making a difference, and develop skills among youth and students. So my best wishes to all of you. Let us fight for COVID-19 and stay safe, practice social distancing, and learn from our respective homes. Thank you very much for your patience listening to me. Maybe we can go for the interactions, questions, observations, comments, and suggestions. Even I can track your chat box also. So let me see. So I'm stopping my presentation here and coming back to the particularly. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir. We all are hearing you. We all are hearing you.
So any question, any observation, any comments?
Good evening, sir. This is Dr. Sekhar Suman from Indira Gandhi National Open University.
Yeah.
Sir, my question is that.
IGNOU? Yeah. Yeah. Sekhar ji, welcome. Please go ahead. Hello. Sekhar ji, I am missing your voice. During social distancing, you would like to conduct exams. Is it, Dr. Sekhar? Yeah. Actually, if we talk about examinations, first of all, Dr. Sekhar is saying something. Tell me, Dr. Sekhar.
Annual exam.
Okay. Particularly as far as exams are concerned, we should not be much worried now about the examinations. But since you received this particular, pointed out this particular issue, I must mention that as a part of any learning management system, using any learning management system, whether it is Moodle, can you hear me? Yeah, whether it is Moodle, using Moodle, using Google Classroom, using whether Swayam platform, where we are again using Google Classroom now, and we can certainly conduct examinations because all the courses, all the modules, we have assessment questions literally. And on after completion of the course also we can conduct terminal examinations for certification. So that is inbuilt in the system. Yeah, as far as the university annual examinations and semester examinations are concerned, so slowly we need to digitize that. Even National Testing Center has been set up by Government of India. So now most of the examination like NEET, JEE, so these examinations are being conducted by National Testing Center. But the Honorable HRM has already declared that the board examinations will happen in July if everything goes right and there will be no lockdown in the country. But nobody knows, even we cannot guess, and likely there is possibility that we will be extending the dates if everything is not going right. So even in school education, you will be surprised. Some of the teachers using social media, they are using WhatsApp, they are using Telegram, they are preparing worksheets, they are circulating worksheets through social media posts, and students are doing that work. And in a class, since 35 students are there, or in a school if 5 sections are there, so maybe 150 students are there, so their answer sheets are coming back to the teachers, and teachers are assessing and giving them feedback even using social media. So there are multiple ways of doing assessment at this stage also, but during this situation we should not be much worried about the assessment. Rather, our concern is to deliver some content to them so that they don't miss out major portions when they come back to the college or the university. So maybe we can catch them and go ahead with the examinations. Thank you very much. But there is no shortcut for any assessment. So there are multiple ways we need to explore and ensure which one is suitable for which purpose. That is most important for all of us. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sekhar. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Good evening, loud and clear.
Yeah, I am Sumin Prakash from Rajiv Gandhi University, Department of Education, sir.
Namaskar, Dr. Sir.
जी नमस्कार सर. सर एक चीज
From Amarkantak?
and Arunachal Pradesh.
Oh, you are from Doimukh.
जी Doimukh, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, sir. Since we have to take mostly the subjective examinations or assignments, so which LMS would you like to suggest for we the teachers of higher education? Because for objective assessment we have many tools.
Actually, all the LMS, whether you talk about Swayam, the Moodle platform also. So every LMS, there is a possibility for embedding subjective examinations also. But the only thing is we have to add extra plugins to it. So because no LMS itself because it comes with some basics, and we need to add additional plugins for that. But in case of open-ended examinations, particularly you are saying subjective examinations, the major challenge in LMS is the assessment. Because if 10 times I am allowed for subjective assessment, so in that case it will be difficult for me as a teacher for assessment. Like for example, my example I'll be taking, we run a course for teachers which is known as action research. So we wanted that teachers should do some subjective work. So what we did, we gave them some projects. We gave them some template. Under that template, they can conduct a project, they can report on the project. First of all, they have to submit project proposal under that template. So that template was shared with them. Then they submitted project proposals first. Then because we had around 100% enrollment in the course that time, around 185 or something. So we took some more mentors with us to assess those projects. Because for me, if there is a project of 10-20 pages, so it takes time also to read, because if automatically it is objective type, the computer, the system takes care of that, because multiple choice items are there, automatically scoring is done. And in that case, the mentors had to read every page and give them marks. So we had to add more mentors, and they took charge and they did it. So project work also can be given as an attachment to them, and using Google Form also. Google Drive you might be using. Google
Yeah.
Form also, there are possibility of having subjective assessment. We can design that also. But only thing is scoring is a problem. So, and there could be other, maybe Coursera I have not tested. Open edX also, it is there, popularly used also. But Moodle is the mostly used platform in the around 200 plus countries. They use Moodle. So it is very popular and free and open source also, though started from Australia. So the only thing is we have to have additional plugins. So those plugins we have to look and add also. Like I will request you to visit our NISTA portal, nista.gov.in. So portal, it is a Moodle platform, but you cannot guess that from the look and feel that it is Moodle customized. We have customized like anything. So we have taken extra plugins, even look and feel, even the all the registration and also that process, even other tutorials and all, we have simplified it, additional resources, so you can see that. And thank you very much. Convey my regards to Professor Jaydev Sahu also.
Okay, thank you, sir. Can we use Microsoft Teams for this subjective assignment?
Definitely. There are many proprietary softwares you can use. Yeah.
Okay, I have a
Even
question.
we have, yeah.
I just wanted to find out, how do you ensure that the student attempting the answer is the actual student and not somebody else?
See, particularly as far as honesty and transparency is concerned, only teachers should not think that they are the honest people on earth. So we have to trust on people, and under trust, a teacher-taught relation works. I'm not talking about board examinations or annual examinations or semester examinations, because those are conducted by university, not by the faculty. So that has to be conducted by the university or any system, not individual faculty members. But as far as individual testings are concerned, assignments are concerned, we have to trust. And ethically, we have to use any platform, because even family also, it trust works. So the bonding in the family also, trust is must. So we need to trust students, and we can certainly make some checks also, if you want, whether they have accessed on their own mobile or somebody else mobile. But using their own mobile also, they can take the help of their friends and parents also, and other teachers also. But so ethics, particularly honesty, so it should be everybody's concern, not only the teachers' concern. So students should be, because if they have transparency, or if they have honesty, they learn more skills. If they don't have, they don't learn. And another thing also, if some open-ended questions are given, like Rabindranath Tagore ji tried in 1913, 1-3 in 19th century, he tried open book examination in Santiniketan. So similarly, if some open-ended questions could be given to the students, where they have to think and feel, and like big dams in India should be banned. So COVID in India cannot be controlled. So let them think and give. So in that case, there is no only one answer, and they can copy with their friend and ask that, okay, this is a multiple choice question, just you help me to answer this. Similarly, also, if I take a smaller level example for students who know double digit or 3-digit addition, so if 100 is answer, what is the question? So there will be thousands of questions. 5 adding 20 times 100, 2 adding 50 times 100, 20 adding 5 times 100, 10 adding 10 times 100. So 98 plus 200. So thousands of ways will be there to arrive at 100. So similar kind of situations, that is called a problem posing, not problem solving. Problem posing in learning. So similar kind of examples should be practiced by the teachers. We should be more creative in designing questions. Then only we can check this menace and so imbibe ethics and transparency among students, honesty among students. Yeah. Please go ahead. Sorry, my answer was slightly longer.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Hello. Good.
Yes, I'm listening. Your mic is echoing. Even you can message me your questions also on chat box. I can read.
Okay, sir. I am Rakesh from IP University.
Rakesh ji,
Can you
namaste.
hear me, sir? Namaste. Sir, my question regarding whether the NCERT has devised any mechanism to overcome the language barrier issues, and what are the mechanisms which the government is thinking regarding the providing this education facility to rural students? Because for rural students, the internet and the electricity itself is a big issue. So, for particularly for language issue, whether they are having some kind of mechanism in place or they are working on that.
Rakesh ji, thank you very much. Language is a big barrier in our country. I think in India there are 4 distinct language families. I think Aryan, Dravidian, Austroasian, and Tibeto-Burman. And there are more than 1,652 languages in our country. But the 8 scheduled languages are 22. So it is our utmost concern to develop resources in these languages. NCERT, whenever develop national curriculum framework and other national level documents, we translate into at least in 8 scheduled languages, so that it reaches to every state and the debate is done in a transparent way and every section participate. And also all the materials which we develop, we share with the education secretaries of all the states, requesting them to translate all these materials in their state languages. And for those cases also, we provide separate budget for translation. Even non-scheduled languages like Mizo, even Ao, even Khasi, Garo, and Jentia in Meghalaya. So these languages translation also happen. So NCERT provides funds for translation. We encourage the states to translate these languages, documents in different languages. Even the textbooks also published by NCERT, we share with the states, requesting them to develop their own textbook based on NCERT textbooks and also customize the textbooks in different languages. Even the state like Odisha, they develop textbooks in 13 languages like Santali, Mundari, Ho, so Kui. So all these tribal languages also they develop books. So we work a lot with the states. And we, as far as pedagogy is concerned, like in higher education, you practice andragogy because you deal with adults, and we use pedagogy because we deal with young children. So we practice multilingual pedagogy. So multilingual pedagogy means knowing one's own mother tongue and bringing other mother tongues also into the classroom. Suppose I'm in a Hindi class, and maybe there are 4 or 5 words I would like that children should learn in multiple languages, including their own mother tongues also. So we bring that also, and the teachers, they ask, okay, आपके भाषा में इसको क्या बोलेंगे? Maybe ये तमिलनाडु child, हमें हिंदी में अगर भोजन बोलते हैं, अंग्रेजी में food बोलते हैं, तमिल में सापड़ बोलेंगे, so कन्नड़ा में ऊटा बोलेंगे. तो लेकिन अगर एक कन्नड़ा बच्चा क्लासरूम में है, वो लाने की जरूरत है. सो मल्टीलिंगुअलिज्म इज प्रैक्टिस्ड एज ए रिसोर्स एंड क्रिएटिव स्ट्रेटेजी बाय ए क्रिएटिव टीचर in the classroom. so that they make the mother tongue as a base, as a launching pad to learn multiple languages. Even the 3 language formula, which was a consensus of meetings with all the chief ministers in the country in 1965, it is also implemented in letter and spirit. So that one language, first language, mother tongue, and then the second language, and third language, then infinite number of languages. Even researchers have proved, if you know your mother tongue very well and learn your mother tongue up to class 5, you can learn infinite number of languages using your mother tongue learning principle. Like now also I can speak 4 or 5 words in 5-10 different languages, like yahan, wahan, kahan, sare, jahan. Here, there, where, everywhere. अत्र तत्र कुत्र सर्वत्र एकत्र अन्यत्र. तो मैं मेरे मातृभाषा उड़िया में बोलूंगा तो बोलूंगा एठी सेठी कोठी सबुठी. तो बांग्ला में या पंजाबी में बोलूंगा इथे उथे किथे. तो so a teacher has to bring multilingualism to the classroom so that children learn. And young age, primary stage and secondary stage is the best time to pick up languages. Thank you, Rakesh ji. Am I clear, Rakesh ji?
Yes, sir, you are absolutely clear. And regarding this Garo, Khasi, and these are already included in the 8 schedules.
No. Garo, Khasi, Jantia are not 8 scheduled languages. So Garo, Khasi, Jantia are non-scheduled languages. Mizo is also non-scheduled language, not a scheduled language.
Bodo is there in the schedule.
Bodo is 8 scheduled language. Bodo, Santhali, Maithili, Dogri, Kashmiri, these are 8 scheduled languages. You can see some of the 8 scheduled languages printed on the currency notes also. So you'll find 14-15 languages. So they are already printed, but now we have 22 languages. And Hindi being the official language, English being the associate official language. Rajbhasha or Seh Rajbhasha.
Okay, sir. You are able to hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, sir. Okay. So, sir, there are some questions which are posted in the chat box. So, the people, I think one of the participants, Deepa, she is asking which digital tool is best to conduct the examinations.
Okay, actually there is no shortcut. Not a single tool you will say that the best for doing everything. Actually, we have to use multiple tools, and if best we can use one tool, it will be better. So, like for example, so even on Moodle platform also, I can assess students. So using HTML5 also, I can design assessment questions and do that also, use that also. Even using any other learning platforms, we can use that also. Even using Mentimeter also, I can use I can use that for designing assessment questions and also assess students' performance. Kahoot also can be used very well and very interestingly also. But only thing is, as a teacher, we have to see that which will be the best one to use, and that should be used in letter and spirit. Yeah. There are many hundreds and thousands of tools. There are not one or two tools.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Even hot potatoes also you teach at B.Ed level, that can also be used for assessment.
Okay. There is one more question that the participants, they are asking that how we can make justice with the rural students with this digital platform, as we know that there
Actually,
is very poor connectivity. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
I mentioned in my presentation also, actually we need to use more and more radio. Radio has penetration to the whole country. now. Even there are hundreds of FM radio stations also. So now we are also sharing our content through 40 Gyanvani stations of run by IGNO. So there were a couple of faculty from IGNO also, they are participating. So we are using. So radio is the best tool. And second is television. So even the DD, DTH antenna, even in Kashmir Valley also, so even if the internet connection is not working or banned for sometimes due to some reason or the other, so but the television DD Kasir is witnessed by many rural Kashmiri people. So using DD Kasir, if we telecast educational programs, that is a better proposition, and using a DD direct dish, they can use that and watch the program also. And besides that, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, he also want that DTH TV channels should be used in a large scale. So now NCERT is planning to run 12 DTH TV channels for all 12 classes from class 1 to 12 and run the educational content, so that now the private schools and many schools which are engaging students more than 8 hours daily on online mode, and where internet connectivity is playing hide and seek in COVID situation, and not many part of our country except urban areas are connected. So it is a dangerous proposition. So radio and television should be used in a large scale, including FM radios, and social media, particularly Telegram and WhatsApp. Telegram, you can have 1 lakh students in Telegram. Suppose a whole IP university, all the students, if the Honorable Vice Chancellor would send some message to 100% students, so Telegram, through Telegram, the message can be sent. Similarly, using IVR technology also, so interactive voice response technology. So the audios can be much more used. Even you will be surprised, the Gujarat government is using radio in a big way. So they have given public announcement systems, PS systems in the villages, and in the village there is a PS system. It can reach to every household in the village. So anything they are doing from Gandhinagar or Ahmedabad, so every cluster, every village can hear the chief minister or a teacher teaching something, and students even sitting at home also listen to the teacher's voice. So we need to use those technologies in big way rather than depending only on internet and learning management system, online labs and all. So this kind of low cost technologies needs to be used. And in Doordarshan and All India Radio, virtually the money we spend is virtually in paisa, not in rupee, which reaches to every nook and corner of the country. Thank you.
Sir, we have one more question that Dr. Abha is asking on the chat box, that how we can maintain the sanctity of examination by e-platform, as you know that so many malpractices are used by some persons. So can we have some control on that?
We can have video recordings of the performance by students, like the NTA is doing, National Testing Agency is doing. Even Tata, they have some provisions, more than 500 plus centers they have across the country. They use that for proctored examinations. That is the right word. So there could be proctored examinations also. We have to have a video camera in the classroom where students are means particularly appearing in the examinations. But every household, checking the malpractices from every household and students doing malpractices or not, so it is a difficult proposition to do. Rather, I would love that if Rabindranath Tagore's open book examination is used in a large scale, and we teach honesty to our students from the beginning, because they also require role models. So being teachers and teacher educators, it will be role models for them also, so they learn that, because अनुकरण और हनुकरण दोनों से बच्चे सीखते हैं. तो हम अनुकरण करने की चीज दे रहे हैं या अनुकरण करने के लिए दे रहे हैं, तो वो हमारे ऊपर है. Okay, technology can certainly do that. Somebody has asked that how will we, Miss Madam Deepa, I think Deepa RP, how we will teach experiments through we hands-on experience. Actually, Madam Deepa, there are many online laboratories also. Today, if you dissect a frog, nobody will allow you to dissect because environmentally it is banned. So Environment Ministry has banned. But we cannot deprive our students from doing experiments in the classroom. So we can tell them to have virtual dissections, learn through virtual dissections, and if they get a dead animal, that time they can do real. Even in hospitals also, you'll find many dead bodies they deliberately preserve for dissection and for teaching dissection to MBBS and MD students. So similarly, we can start from virtual lab activities to learn the experiments, because now if you want that how a volcanic eruption happen, you want to show in the classroom. So you have to show it in virtually. So there is a mobile app called Plickers, Plickers, Plickers. We use for school education students. So there is a volcanic eruption sheet. So we can take a printout. Students can draw also and draw a volcanic eruption site, and then they can scan the code and see how the volcanic eruption happened and what are the different parts of a volcano. Particularly, what is the crust, what is lava, and how it happened. Even using some low-end chemicals also they can do at home. Even आपने भी देखा होगा जो दिवाली के समय में हम लोग सांप की छोटी छोटी जो उसको क्या अंडे बोलते हैं, काले काले जो होते हैं एग्स, तो उसमें बच्चे माचिस लगाते हैं और उसके जैसे पूंछ निकलता है, सांप निकलता है, ऐसे निकलता है. So that is also indirectly another examples of volcanic eruption, how it happened and come out also. So even with vinegar and some low-end chemicals, they can do that at home. But we have to be very careful, not for higher education students, though they are well off. Even for drawing electric circuit also there are mobile apps, so they can draw that, they can know that how it happened. So virtual labs are available. SIDAC and Amrita Vishwavidyalaya, they have developed a whole app. I don't know whether you have seen that. I mentioned about PhET simulation, PhET Colorado, even Stellarium, even for chemistry, Calcium. Calcium is a portal and mobile app also. So using Calcium, you can also do simulations of different chemical experiments in the classroom without any danger, because they will be doing virtually. So there are many possibilities. We need to explore and use that in the classroom, and students can use that at home also. Thank you, Madam Deepa. Yeah. Any other question? I can read also.
Yes, sir. There are so many questions. The
It is
participants
running very fast. By the
Yes.
time I reply, it goes away.
Sir, I will ask the question. Actually, the participants, they are asking that how to reduce the stress which is being caused to the exposure of radiations due to this digital media. So can we have some control on that? Because we are not having the physical activities these days. All the students, they are locked in their houses.
Right.
Yes.
Actually, thank you very much, Madam Dr. Anjali. Even in school education also, we are trying a lot that students are de-stressed. So we have art, music, dance, all these programs, and our faculty and some practicing teachers, they are interacting with the students. And if the students know how to play a musical instrument, how they should play, and even the teachers are also training them. Even we have all forms of dance forms in the country like Odissi, Kuchipudi, Bihu, Bharatanatyam, Kathak also. So by renowned artists they are performing. We are also playing that so that the children should see and learn that at home also. And that is why we are giving a lot of stress on television program rather than on online learning. Because in higher education, particularly, lot of activity on online learning happening even in case of private schools under CBSE. So a lot of online activities they are giving. So, but NCERT in totality, we discourage more online activity through mobile phones and laptops, desktops, and all these. Rather, we appreciate if they use radio sets and television sets and listen to some demonstrations. And we have also recorded a series of yogic activities, health and physical education related activities, how children should practice that and be calm and practice some meditation, some yogic activities also. So we have those programs we give them. Even also every day we are having a half an hour counseling slot for the school students from 5:30 to 5 o'clock to 5:30 p.m. Today also you can see now it is already, I think 5:30. The program is already over. So maybe tomorrow you can see on your TV channel. Even if you have cable network, you can see Tata Sky and Airtel. Every network they telecast our program. So we have counselors all over India. They are counseling students also how to be fit, happy also at home, and help parents in their household chores. So suppose parents are in kitchen and doing something, they should not every time see master chef, but they should also help their parents to, in preparing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and also serving that to everybody, and get involved in different activities. Definitely, we are discouraging them to go out because they can get involved with the parents to do household course also, and link that further to learning, and they will be fit also if they are doing at home. So physical exercise like skipping, even some small exercises, jogging at home also. So they can do even some meditation at home also they can do, and be happy and keep yourself happy is most important. And no doubt children, they have their own schedules, but still we need to infuse all these values among students so that they keep themselves fit. We have been trying this so that indirectly we try to de-stress them and they learn in a happy manner. So all these kind of art, health and physical education, yoga, meditation, so this will help them to be balanced in life. So not that everything is learning, teaching, everything. So they should also divide time and equally devote time for different activities. Even interaction also, even some group games also, maybe chess. So if two siblings are at home, they can play chess, they can play carom board also. So that they are mentally peace. So at peace. So peace-oriented values we need to imbibe among children. So no doubt Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, those are eternal values. But the peace-oriented values, how to be calm and composed every time in every situation, need to be taught to younger generation. But extremely difficult.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm also looking at some posts. If any other question, Dr. Mahesh Jain, yes. In the villages, parents do not give mobile to their children because they have only one. So how the things possible like online? Sir, हम बार बार कह रहे हैं ऑनलाइन सब कुछ नहीं है. सो टीवी रेडियो अगर घर पे है तब भी करना चाहिए, और बुक भी पढ़ना चाहिए बच्चों को, बुक बनाना भी चाहिए बच्चों को, खुद तुकबंदी करके कविता भी लिखनी चाहिए, कहानी भी लिखनी चाहिए. खिड़की में बाहर देख रहे हैं तो बाहर क्या देख रहे हैं उसको, उसके ऊपर भी लिखनी चाहिए. आज आंधी आई थी दिल्ली में, तो आंधी आते समय क्या क्या हुआ था वो भी लिखनी चाहिए. तो सिमिलरली जो आपके अडल्ट स्टूडेंट्स हैं, तो वो कुछ ऐसे क्रिएशंस बनाने चाहिए. तो वो खाली नॉवेल पढ़े ना, कुछ लिखे भी एडल्ट के लिए, वो भी होना चाहिए. तो उनको अपने आप को कुछ क्रिएशन करने के लिए भी मोटिवेशन मिलना चाहिए.
यहाँ पर सर जोर केवल इस बात पर दिया जा रहा है कि मोबाइल जी.
हाँ जी. एक्चुअली टीवी रेडियो में किसी ने पूछा है, मेरे ख्याल में रमेश शर्मा जी ने, कि टीवी रेडियो को यूज करके अगर कोई कंफ्यूजन है, सवाल कैसे पूछेंगे. एक्चुअली कोई भी टीवी और रेडियो प्रोग्राम में नीचे आप देखेंगे उनका जो टोल फ्री नंबर है, ईमेल आईडी है, तो वो होता है। और एनसीईआरटी के प्रोग्राम में हम रोज 7.5 घंटे की टेलीकास्ट करते हैं, लाइव टेलीकास्ट करते हैं, तो हमारे 2 टोल फ्री नंबर है और ईमेल आईडी है, तो उसमें कोई भी कभी भी एक्सपर्ट्स के साथ बात कर सकते हैं। और आप जैसे नहीं, आप शायद भोपाल से हैं या कहाँ से, तो लेकिन आपसे मैं बात कर रहा हूँ डायरेक्टली, आपका सवाल भी मैंने पढ़ लिया। तो सिमिलरली रेडियो टीवी में भी वो पॉसिबल है, फोन इन प्रोग्राम जो है, 2 वे वीडियो 2 वे ऑडियो, तो वो कम्युनिकेशन पॉसिबल है और होता भी है, तो वो किया जा सकता है और किसी भी रेडियो स्टेशन के साथ होता है। आप अगर भोपाल से हैं तो भोपाल का जो आकाशवाणी स्टेशन है, आपके इंदौर के स्टेशन है, इंदौर के आकाशवाणी स्टेशन से हमने कई साल पहले लाइव फोन इन प्रोग्राम किया था। जो भोपाल के इंदौर के आसपास के जो तहसील है, जैसे सांवर है, इंदौर है, मऊ है, तो उनके टीचर्स के साथ हम लोगों ने इंदौर स्टेशन में बैठ के ही बात किया था। तो ऐसे कर सकते हैं। और आज के डेट में ऑल इंडिया रेडियो दूरदर्शन का काफी ऑफ टाइमिंग है, वो 24/7 सभी चैनल में न्यूज नहीं ब्रॉडकास्ट करते हैं, ना प्रोग्राम करते हैं, तो उनके ऑफ टाइम यूज करके हम एजुकेशनल ब्रॉडकास्ट कर सकते हैं। और एफएम रेडियो स्टेशन आपके लोकेलिटी में कोई होगा, उसको भी यूज करके कर सकते हैं।
Yes.
और किसी ने पूछा कि पेरेंट्स के पास एक ही मोबाइल होता है और वो बच्चों के साथ शेयर करना मुश्किल होता है। अब पेरेंट्स तो घर पे हैं और बच्चा अगर कुछ सीखना चाहता है तो उसको जरूर दीजिए थोड़ी देर के लिए, पर गाइडेड अटेम्प्ट करिए और उसको मदद करिए। लेकिन आई बेट आपका जो बच्चा है वो आपसे एक जनरेशन आगे है, बिकॉज दे आर डिजिटल नेटिव्स। हाँ, हम लोग आप लोग सभी डिजिटल माइग्रेंट्स हैं, तो हम माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स है, दे आर नेटिव्स एंड दे, आप उनको मोबाइल पकड़ा दीजिए, वो पूरे मोबाइल का पोस्टमार्टम कर देंगे और वापस जोड़ के आपको दे देंगे। इवन आपका सिम और सेल वही बदल देंगे। आप डरेंगे क्योंकि आपका मोबाइल 50,000 का है। बच्चे के लिए तो सीखना बड़ी चीज है, आपका 50,000 उसके लिए कुछ भी नहीं है, तो ना वो सोचता भी है। वो बच्चा फोकस्ड है और टेक्नोलॉजी गेस कर लेता है वो किस डायरेक्शन में वो जाएगा। ठीक है, सो दे आर 1 जनरेशन अहेड, तो उनको डिमोटिवेट मत करिए, तो उनका लेवल बेस्ट जितना पॉसिबल है दीजिए मौका, लेकिन गाइडेड चांस देना चाहिए। हाँ, पतंग जैसे, तो चिड़िया जैसे नहीं, छोड़ दीजिए नहीं, तो पतंग जैसे कभी ढील देना है, कभी टाइट करना है, और पतंग की पेच लगाना है।
So,
हाँ जी, मेरा स्माइल कुछ लोगों को पसंद आ रहा है, तो थैंक यू वेरी मच।
thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Hello, you are able to hear me? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
So thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights regarding the digital initiatives which are taken by the Government of India in the school education and in the teacher education. You well explained, sir, that what is the educational scenario in India, and you have also shared the valuable insights about the various digital initiatives like e-Pathshala, the various mobile apps. You told about the Diksha platforms, the Nishtha initiative, which is taken by the government. And thank you so much, sir, for giving your valuable time. We know that you have a meeting right now at 5:30, so you have to rush. You have to attend that meeting, so we can understand.
Thank you very much, Anjali ji. I hope this is beginning, not end. So thank you very much to the Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University for giving this opportunity to interact with all the academia across the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Behra. On behalf of IPU University, I again say thanks for giving your precious time in spite of your so many webinar and busy schedule. आपने हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स के साथ बहुत अच्छा सेशन लिया। ये यूनिवर्सिटी का तरफ से हम आपको जितना थैंक्स करें उतना कम है। Please do join again for our further activities. और शॉर्ट नोटिस में आपने हमारा इनविटेशन एक्सेप्ट किया सर. Again, from my bottom of the heart, thank you again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Dhananjay Joshi ji. Thank you.
And sir, you have well taken all the questions and you have answered almost all the questions. And just one thing I want to share, that in between the session you talked about the weather conditions today. So due to those weather conditions, I have faced a lot of problems today, because I have to do the anchoring in the program, and due to this bad weather, my Wi-Fi connection was lost, and I have to rush to my relatives' homes, and there I take time to the initiative. So there are some faults in using this technology also, and we all have to cope up with these type of things. So again, then thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Okay. Namaskar, sir. Now I request Bani Preet to please play the Gayatri Mantra.
ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dhananjay, sir.
Thank you very much, Anjali. Thank you very much to all the participants. And
No,
thank
sir,
you to all the team members.
Okay, sir, you have taken.
Sir, today's. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
So we'll meet tomorrow at the scheduled time. I request the participants,
Yes,
please
sir.
be adhere with the discipline and other things, because it is our prestige and it's the question of matter of our university's prestige also. So we'd like to have our session should be enriched, not only for the sake of attendance, please do for learning. So my good wishes to one and all. Over to Anjali.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So tomorrow we will be meeting at the 2 o'clock, and Dr. Durgesh Tripathi will be the resource person for tomorrow. He will take both the sessions, and he will be talking about the MOOCs, that what is the use of the MOOCs in the present scenario, and how to submit the proposal, how to make the proposal and submit the MOOC proposal. So thank you once again. Now we are ending the session, and tomorrow we will meet at 2 o'clock. Thank you.